Well, it's just got light here, and wasn't a very pleasant night for me. In excess of 30 knots at times, but that wasn't really the problem. And I don't know if some of you realise, but just over a year ago, I was 100 miles off the coast of Spain when I was hit by a huge wave in this boat, and I was inside the boat. The boat was turned upside down. We ended up having to get airlifted off, but last night I was lying in the bunk. I'd gone to sleep just as it was getting dark, and I must have been sleeping quite deeply, and when I woke up to the sound of the boat getting hit by a wave sideways, and then the boat leaning over a long way, and in my mind was telling me we were going upside down, and it was just, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was going to happen. I was just hanging on to the bunk, expecting my whole world to turn upside down, and fortunately it didn't. I felt a bit silly afterwards, but I came up on deck and everything seemed alright, and the boat came back upright, so yeah, no problems, just my mind playing some tricks on me. These experiences that you have an effect on you, for sure, and I have thought about it before, and I have had little dreams of it, but never quite like this. It's these conditions, these big waves. I look forward to the Horn, and for now I'm still smiling. No more days like this, please. Fortunately the wind's due to go down, so I'm happy about that. I hope you guys have a good day.
News came in late afternoon yesterday. I heard a great bang. The keel started moving. Then I noticed there was a problem with the ram. Went to take a closer look. There was oil all over. And then I realized the ram was cracked, and it can't be fixed. I hooked up the keel so it's not too loose. I hope it's stable enough to hold. 2,700 kilometers from the nearest land, Paul Meillat is in the middle of a maritime desert en route to the north. He hasn't officially declared his abandon, but evidently can't continue the race under such conditions.
A midnight mercy dash to help a stricken solo yachtsman off the southern coast of New Zealand has helped end a harrowing ordeal.
Thomas Rouillon is making the headlines in New Zealand. Escorted by the Coast Guards, he was able to save his boat by reaching Bluff Harbor.
I need a shower, I need to eat, I need sleep, I need to talk to my family, all things.
The other news of the day, yesterday an incredible traffic jam at Cape Lewins crossing. Within 15 hours' time, 5 competitors crossed the second of the 3 capes. First, Fabrice Amédéo, then Alan Ruar and Endau Koinin. Rich Wilson and Eric Bayon, sailing practically side by side, complete the quintet. Cape Lewins! That's it, Cape Lewins! Gosh darn, it feels good.
A very warm pre-Christmas welcome to the Vendee Globe Live today, day number 45 on the racecourse in this 8th edition of the Vendee Globe. Well, after the drama yesterday with Thomas Rouillon, who successfully brought his IMOCA, very badly damaged IMOCA, into Bluff yesterday afternoon and evening, the rookie with the problems today, unfortunately, is Paul Meillat, who has had keel ram issues since yesterday. He's moved his boat up to the north of the racecourse into slightly lighter conditions, and the assessment there is ongoing. They're evaluating the situation exactly. Bear in mind he's in the most isolated part of the course, just around about Point Nemo, and so the decision they make has to be the right one. Meantime,
We have Guillaume with us, our guest for today. Guillaume's going to give us an update on the situation with some of the French skippers. We have no other guests other than we did speak with Ray Davies earlier, who is the tactician from Emirates Team New Zealand. And Ray and all the rest of the guys from Team New Zealand, indeed the country, are watching the Vendee Globe very, very closely indeed. Still one or two communications problems with Alex Thomson. Hopefully we'll catch up with them tomorrow. We know that it's been a few days since we spoke to the British skipper, but as I say, it should be tomorrow, hopefully. Let's have a look at the situation with the fleet as we fly through in our 3D animation. Well, starting off with the group of 5, there are only 13 hours between Fabrice Amadeo and Eric Bellion as they crossed Cape Lewin. Eric Bellion crossed 2 hours after Rich Wilson, and Alan Rura 4 hours before Enda O'Coinin, a very, very tight group. Arnaud Boissy, meanwhile, is 270 miles ahead of them. And Nander Fa into the Pacific. Louis Burton south of New Zealand. 25 miles now between Jean Le Cam and Jan Elias. Nothing in it for them. But Jean-Pierre Dick has moved 265 miles ahead of them and has been going extremely well. Meantime, we see SMA moving to the north, splitting that partnership that's been together for 25 days, side by side. So Jeremy Bayou going on his own. Meantime, Alex making 18 to 19 knots just now, still 525 miles or so behind Armand Leclerc, and Armand Leclerc 750 miles to Cape Horn and should be there on Friday morning. Well, the situation, as we said, with SMA is very difficult at the moment. Paul Mea told yesterday afternoon how his keel problems had started. It is really in a bit of a tight spot at the moment, though he has secured in the middle of the boat. This is how he told us of the news in his video to shore yesterday.
Bon, on est le 20 décembre et très mauvaise nouvelle aujourd'hui. J'ai entendu un gros bang et la quille a commencé à bouger. Et en fait, je me suis rendu compte qu'il y avait un problème sur le vérin. Et j'ai été voir, il y avait de l'huile partout, je vais vous montrer. Donc voilà, il y a de l'huile partout. Au début, je pensais que c'était une fuite d'une durite. Et en fait, je me suis rendu compte que le vérin était fissuré. Et donc du coup, c'est pas réparable. Maintenant, la priorité, c'est de mettre le bateau en sécurité. J'ai accroché la quille pour pas qu'elle se balade partout. Et voilà, j'espère que ça va tenir.
It's a difficult situation for Paul Meha. We'll keep an eye on the situation as it develops over the course of the afternoon. Do stay up to date with the website and our social media. Meantime, the partnership that we have seen for 25 days between Paul Meha and Jeremy Bayou has parted for the meantime, and Jeremy is over 250 miles to the west. He has his own problems and certainly previously he was getting a little bit of weather information or just comparing notes with Paul Mea, and so he's very much out on his own now as he goes towards the east. In his native New Zealand, meantime, Conrad Coleman, you have to say, was a little bit under the radar prior to the start of this race. Indeed, he tried to find sponsorship there, as he did in many other places. He tried to find sponsorship in New Zealand and really struggled. But since the start of the race, he's built a big following, as indeed has the race in New Zealand, a very respectful, informed following. We spoke with Ray Davies, who is the tactician with Team New Zealand, and we recorded this earlier on in the morning because, of course, it is 1 o'clock in the morning in New Zealand just now. And this was Ray Davies and Conrad Coleman.
Hey, look, we're all really excited for you. We're always, all the computers in the design office are check in with the Vendee every morning, and obviously we have Guillaume in our office, and I'm right alongside him at work, and he's following the race obviously with interest, and now we're really excited for your progress, and obviously you're passing New Zealand around Christmas time, and hopefully you stay well south and you don't get tempted to come up and get a bit of Christmas pudding.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky to be going past New Zealand during Christmas. You know, it's got. I'm going to be eating, you know, freeze-dried pasta instead of Christmas pudding and strawberries. But the price you pay to be out here chasing your dreams, I'm happy to be here.
No, mate, it's fantastic. You're an inspiration, mate, and just want to pass on, you know, a huge amount of support from Team New Zealand, and it's, you know, there's a lot of people behind you in New Zealand, and obviously there's a lot of competitors having a tough time ahead of you there, and it looks like you've got some steady weather for a while to sort your boat out and get everything in order. So all the best, mate. I know this is not a great line, but yeah, very inspiring, mate.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. It means a lot to know that you guys are following along and that you guys like the stories as well. So I'll keep on trucking and make sure I get to the end.
So Conrad Coleman promising to keep on trucking, and some nice messages from his native New Zealand. We did speak also with Conrad in French earlier on. What was he saying? He's in good spirits.
Yeah, he's happy because he will have good conditions now, and he will rest because he had tough days just before, and he's ready to celebrate a little Christmas on board.
A little bit of Christmas,
yeah.
But Conrad, of course, a vegetarian.
Yes, so I don't know what he has, but we'll see. Maybe some surprises.
No turkey, anyway, for Conrad. In the meantime, the Vendee Globe is also in the news in New Zealand as Thomas Rheon arrived into Bluff yesterday, and he was on the TV newsreels yesterday evening. This is how it played out.
I need a shower, I need to eat, I need to sleep, I need to talk to my family. All those things.
And then just proceeded with getting ourselves and the gear on board, pumps included. And from there, it was make sure Thomas is okay, and just look at the situation, which is a lot worse than I expected. Even from the video that I'd seen, it's a lot worse. So we got the pumps running because his onboard emergency pumps were dying, and discovered that the front section further forward was also compromised and was full of water.
So that's Stu McLaughlin, in fact, who was first on board Thomas Rheon's boat and stabilised the situation, helped him bring the boat back into port. But a fantastic piece of seamanship from Thomas Rheon.
Yeah, he was really tired yesterday and mixed feelings in his head. He was happy, of course, to have his boat safe, but really disappointed to give up now because he was doing a very, very good race.
So the two rookies at the moment really are the ones who have had the problems. Paul Mea also.
Yeah, really tough for the rookies. We can see it from the start of the race.
Thanks, Guillaume. And this was Ray Davies, his response to the situation with Thomas Rheon as he saw the news bulletins, obviously at home in Auckland yesterday. Thomas Rheon coming into South Island, New Zealand, into Bluff yesterday. That made national news.
Yeah, no, it sure did. Very sad for him. You know, his boat just, I think he's incredibly lucky and fantastic seamanship to actually get it back to land. A phenomenal effort. Obviously, whatever he hit or whatever happened there was incredibly serious, and great seamanship to get back in one piece. And, you know, we really feel for him, and I'm sure he's just going to be looked after with good Kiwi hospitality. And I'm not sure how that's going to pan out over the next months for him. But, yeah, I just, you know, our heart goes out to him. A massive effort, obviously, to get where he did, to have, you know, such a dramatic failure like that. But, you know, fantastic that he nursed the boat back to land.
That's the reaction of Ray Davies to seeing Thomas Rheon coming into Bluff yesterday with his very badly damaged boat. Guillaume, who else have we spoken with, or do we know about in the French skippers at the moment?
Yeah, so this morning we had Sébastien Destremo. He was.
How is the office?
The office was good today. He was going north with Romain Attanasio to avoid low pressure. And we also had Louis Button in the French live. But we didn't hear him well. He just explained he was very happy to be half of the race, and he's entering the Pacific.
Good news for them. In the meantime, let's look at the meteo situation. Some opportunities at Christmas perhaps coming up for Alex Thomson. Perhaps a little bit of a slowdown at Cape Horn. Let's look at the meteo. And the weather today, well, decisions really for the top two, for Armel Leclerc and for Alex Thomson as they approach Cape Horn. Armel Leclerc is just coming in into this little low pressure, which is just situated to the west of Cape Horn. Armel's coming into this just now. He has two choices. He can stay to the north and stay downwind and sail slightly more miles, but stay in a more consistent breeze, or he can sail a little less miles, go underneath the low, and that will take him upwind for a short period. But the system is evolving progressively, and it's quite hard to track at the moment. Similar to for Alex Thomson, he's on the apex of this low here, so you can see the rotation of the low and also underneath the high pressure. At the moment he has about 20 knots from the northwest, but over the course of the day he will start to be influenced more by the low pressure below him, and that will allow him to jibe and to get onto starboard. Say Alex about 20 knots from the northwest, but the same situation evolving for him. He will come into a low as he approaches Cape Horn. That will slow him, and he'll have the choice to stay to the north or more likely to go down through a more southerly route. Meantime, Jeremy Biu is still in this low pressure here. He's not really, that's been with him for quite a few days now. He's still relatively a relatively slow moving low. Meantime, SMA Paul Mea going up to try to sort out his keel ram problems. He's making about 7 knots, but he's getting up into lighter breezes, and that should be the best conditions to try and effect that repair. Meantime, Jean-Pierre Dick here and Saint-Michel Veerback. He's had this nice, pretty much a private frontal system that he's been going forward with. That's starting to dissipate now, and so he has slowed, and he will be caught a little bit today by Jan Elias and by Jean Le Cam, who are still in quite nice southwesterly conditions. So looking then at the second part of the fleet, we're now really into 3 parts to the fleet. If we look first of all at Burro Valley still having nice consistent conditions, a nice northwesterly breeze, but are more of a northerly breeze, around about 20 to 30 knots. But he's that's staying with him just now. Spirit of Hungary moving to look at Nandor Fa here. Nandor Fa is in the 25-30 knots of this fast moving low. He's going to stay with those conditions. We'll get more wind tomorrow. And then looking towards down here to Foresight Natural Energy, that's Conrad Coleman. A little bit less breeze for him. He's just at the back of the low in about 20 knots. And then Arnaud Boissier further back in the next system, and just in the front of that in about 20 knots. The big thing for the group at the very back of the fleet, looking towards Roman Atanasio, techno first is Sebastian Destremo, and also Didac Costa here. They're still in this low pressure, quite strong winds, around about 30 knots, much more to the south, but they're in a reasonably stable low and coming quite fast. And also Peter Harima just at the front of the low, and he's still having 1 or 2 autopilot problems, but staying well to the north. So that's the weather situation for today. Lots of decisions at the front of the fleet. And indeed, Peter Harima keeping a relatively conservative course, generally staying north of the 40th parallel, just to managed to contain his situation. He's still ongoing problems with his autopilots. Unfortunately, had a couple of big Chinese jibes last night, and we spoke with him earlier on. This was Peter Harima.
I'm a wreck. I am completely wasted. I've had a horrible night. I've had 3 wipeouts with crash tacks, sails back, flapping, boat flat in the water, enormous mess. Avalanche of stuff through the boat 3 times, sails flapping like mad, flogging around. It's been a disaster, and it's the same old problem, that I've had nearly from the start, and it's that Brooks and Gatehouse autopilot stuff. I'm now on the backup autopilot, but there are certain functions that I don't know if they're in it and how they do, but my plan is to just very, very slowly trundle along. I have food enough for 140 days, and if need be, I just cruise. You know, I'm doing 10 knots at the moment, and that's 53% of polar. It's fantastic circumstances. I could be doing 18 to 20, but if need be, I just stay on 40 degrees, take it easy, and get home that way. But it's very sad, of course, because that's not a Vendee Globe.
Well, that is Peter Harima saying that he's got food for 140 days, and he's going to carry on with his Vendee Globe. It's obviously been extremely tough for him, mostly just living on the edge, not quite knowing what's going to happen with his pilots next. But we will watch it and wait and see how Peter gets on, and we'll stay in touch with him over the next few weeks. And so that's Peter Harima. Anyway, that's all we have time for today on this Vendee Globe Live. Tomorrow we hope to catch up with Alex Thomson and hopefully Brian Thomson. Put them together. That's the intention. In the meantime, join us again tomorrow at midday. This is Jean Le Cam. King Jean had a reasonably close encounter with a cargo ship. It was good for him to see, but the important thing is that we learned that Jean Le Cam can speak English.
Et voilà le cargo là-bas au loin, qu'on devine, en plein Pacifique. Ça fait plaisir. Je vais aller l'appeler en VHF.
It's Hubert, the sailing boat is just near you. What is your destination, please?
Yes, my destination is Milliones, Chile.
Me too, because I go to turn the cap on and go back in Europe after that.
Ah, okay. So you better be careful, sir, because it's very strong wind here. And enjoy.
Yes, okay. Thank you, and good trip, and goodbye. Une rencontre inopportune.